What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Steven Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. All right, guys, so today we're doing another one of these draft profile videos, and I'm going to spend some time with running backs over the next couple of days, and one of the guys I want to bring up is Trey Sermon, right? Ohio State running back. Trey Sermon is a really interesting person to do a draft profile on, right? Because certainly his name has risen following what happened from the Big Ten championship all the way through the college football playoffs.
Almost 6 apart. Sermon again running left. And Sermon fighting and Sermon
into those semifinals. Like, he absolutely got his turn during those games, and he showed that he could be a workhorse back if given the opportunity. And it's a little interesting because I remember Trey Sermon coming out, from high school. He was a very big recruit down in Georgia. And the guy had pretty much every major program interested in him, right? He played a few years at Oklahoma before transferring to Ohio State. So obviously he had the offer from Oklahoma that he accepted. But he also had offers from Florida and, I'm pretty sure Georgia offered him. I'm pretty sure that Alabama offered him. All the major players offered this kid a scholarship coming out of high school.
Is Oregon, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Auburn, Georgia, and Florida.
So he was definitely one of the larger recruits in the country. I remember his name coming up a lot because I do follow college football quite closely. But on the notes of why this person, if you went to go look at his numbers, you would be like, wow, it's kind of crazy he's getting this kind of fanfare. What's going on here, Gate? Why is his name so widely mentioned now? Well, it's because between that time of the Big Ten title game and the playoff semifinals, basically on 60 carries, this guy broke 24 tackles, guys, and put up 500 yards rushing. When he got his opportunity to basically show that he could be a workhorse back in the NFL, he took full advantage of it, guys, and he looked like that guy.
leading Ohio State. Here's Sermon. Sermon breaks it outside. Stiff arm. And goes down at the 25. Run the ball.
So on the season, what does his numbers look like, guys? 116 attempts, 870 yards, 4 touchdowns. 7.5 yards per average. Kind of what I'm leaving out here, guys, is that Ohio State really had a dual committee running back room there. And the major running back for them was actually Master Teague III, who ended up getting injured. And then that kind of gave, towards the end of the season, Trey Sermon a chance to actually produce at that level. But before that, what I knew about Trey Sermon was his elusiveness rating, right? Because at Oklahoma, he had a really high elusiveness rating, and it was still pretty good, even at places like Ohio State.
Sermon gets away.
He still was pretty elusive there. On the season, his elusive rating was a 116.9, which is not bad. I mean, it's not to the tops, but it's not horrible, guys. It shows that there's some ability there. And I thought the biggest difference I saw on film between these two contact balance backs, and that's the thing you have to understand, is that when you look at Trey Sermon, the common NFL comp they give you is Jonathan Williams, right? He's a 5'10", 5'11", 215-ish kind of pound running back who's a contact balance guy, right? He can kind of hit guys and have them just kind of melt off of him, and he's always kind of falling forward. It's kind of an exciting prospect to watch this guy play a little bit, because where I thought the distinguishing difference is I thought that Master Teague, at least in the Penn State game that I broke down here, I thought Master Teague didn't quite show the elusiveness or the agility, if you will, to get outside and be effective on outside runs as much as he was inside. Master Teague is more athletic than I thought he was by watching the film, but it's more of a straight ahead thing with him. He kind of bumps you and knocks you off of him, and then if he gets that momentum going with that body frame he's got, he's a heck of a guy to try to bring down. When I watched Trey Sermon, I did see some abilities to actually get to the outside edge, guys.
2nd and 9, Sermon again. He's forced out.
And I thought he was quite good at getting to the outside edge. And, there were a few plays where he was like, hey, you know what? This might be a running back by committee. This might be a little hard to really kind of judge him. But you know what? Bringing the workload down right now is not a bad idea for running backs because the running back shelf life of the NFL is not long, and you don't want like a crazy number in college to where like, you were carrying the ball 300 times in college. Like that's not what you want, guys. So when you look at him, he was definitely a contact bounce back, guys. He's got 469 yak yards on the year. That averaged out to per attempt to be about 4.04. He ended up forcing 33 missed tackles, but remind you, 24 of those occurred in like a 2-week, 3-week span. So, he definitely got into it when time came. Runs over 10 plus yards, guys. He hit up 27 on the year. When you looked at yards over 15-yard runs, he had 16 on the year. So, I mean, look, primarily a zone running back. He played in the zone system, which is obvious because you got Justin Fields there. There was a lot of zone read, a lot of option stuff, guys, a lot of RPO stuff. And to be honest with you, what I like about Trey Sermon is that I think he would be a really good complementary back in the NFL because he's pretty good in pass protection, guys. I mean, I didn't see anything like against a very pretty, I'm not going to say a very good, but a really good Penn State defense. I didn't see anything in pass protection with him to where I was like, oh man, that's not what you want to see. You know what I mean? Like I thought he was adequate. I thought he held his own.
And that is right in front of the student section, the loudest part of this.
There's a few times, like even on film, I was watching him and like, they didn't use him a whole lot in the passing game, but he would get out there, he'd chip, even getting himself off balance, he'd gain his composure again, make himself available for a little small screen dump off or something like that, and then he took it upfield. So
first half, a chance to really add to the lead here.
See Brooks, Chris, on the blitz, and now you got receivers blocking. You got a couple.
I mean, Trey Sermon is definitely, to me, he's one of the more interesting prospects here because I look at Trey Sermon and I don't see a guy that's going to be a day 2 pick. I see a day 3 pick here, and I think there's tremendous value in that. Now, I will caution that sometimes hype can kill the value you place on a guy. And there's no doubt that following the Big Ten championship game and the semifinals and the college football playoffs, he might get more hype and maybe he sneaks into the early day 3 stuff like the 4th round, right? Possibly someone really falls in love with him and wants this kind of guy, and they go 3rd round, which would put him late day 2. It's possible, but I think he's more of a back end of the 4th round into the 5th round type candidate.
He was hot. Trying to bring pressure on Fields, looking to throw on first down, checks it down to Sermon. He's got space and a first down and is still running, hurling men out of bounds.
I liked him, guys. I liked his film a lot, Trey Sermon. This is a guy that I think makes a lot of sense for teams that have more scat backs, right? So if you look at a team like, obviously the Eagles guys where we have a Miles Sanders, we have a Boston Scott, we have more of these scat back types. Putting a guy in there to complement these guys and be kind of the contact bounce back makes sense. But taking it outside of the Eagles guys, you can go to like, I believe it's Baltimore with J.K. Dobbins there. J.K. Dobbins, who was also Ohio State product, makes a lot of sense. He's more of a scat back. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right? Look at the Chiefs in that situation there, and then you get a guy that's more of a contact bounce back to kind of pair with them. Like, that makes some sense as well. Like, any kind of situation where you have kind of a scat back where you could use a complementary, like, kind of contact bounce back, I think he's going to make a ton of sense for those football teams. Look, I look at a guy like this, and I say to myself, like, this is all value. This is a highly tremendous, like, value pick if you're an organization. And the thing is that he's shown the ability to be elusive when he wants to be. He can get to the outside. He is kind of a good inside thumper. He's a good contact bounce back. Like, he's played a long time in college. He's got 4 years under his belt here, but he's not like one of these guys that you feel like is broken down coming into the NFL. Like, their college teams just rode them to the point to where there's just nothing left by the time they touch an NFL field. Like, I don't feel that way about Trey Sermon. I think there's still life left in Trey Sermon here. But that's how I see this prospect going forward, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. Don't forget, if you want to support the channel, guys, you can always buy me a cup of coffee. Link is in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Let me know your thoughts, guys. What do you guys think about Trey Sermon, right? Coming out of the Oklahoma, kind of field here to where he's always kind of been surrounded by these zone option, zone read, zone blocking kind of scheme things, right? Even in Ohio State, that kind of continued there. Like, what do you think about him? Like, he showed a really high elusive rating. He was pretty good at Oklahoma doing that. He gets to Ohio State. Of course, he's looking to become like a workhorse back, and he gets caught up into a tandem with Master Teague, who was basically the more dominant back until the injury. And then he gets his opportunity and he really shines. Like, let me know your thoughts, guys. Is this the kind of guy that you always say, like, whoa, Gate, pump the brakes, guys. Don't pump this guy up too much, because we don't know. To be fair, like, when you get these guys in a committee, like, you don't want to overvalue them. My thing is, though, is if you're looking at a guy like, and it's all about value, right? If you're talking about this guy in the second round, that's a hard no for me. If you're talking about this guy in the fifth round, that's a hard yes for me. Like, to me, it's always about the value of the pick. And I look at a guy like Trey Sermon, and I say to myself, like, hey, like, you know what? This is a guy that could complement your offense well. This is a guy that, if the draft boards fall the way that most people anticipate the draft boards falling, this is not a player that you have to overly invest draft picks in. Like, this is a guy you can get late, right? And let's be honest. When you're talking late day 3 picks from the 5th round to the 7th round, you're taking chances on guys. I just think that this is the type of guy that if I'm going to take a chance, you know what? 5'10", 215 pounds, contact balance back. Yeah, there's some subtleties here, guys. He's a bit of an upright runner. He kind of has that tall running to him at times. Like, he's going to have to work on that. Elijah Holyfield is kind of the same kind of guy where he runs a little upright. But you know what? At the end of the day, guys, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of what I saw on tape from this guy. Like, yes, there's not a huge touchdown production here, but, let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Let me know what you think. All right, guys, that's all I got for y'all today, and I will see y'all on the next video.